Hello, welcome to TelecomTV. I'm Martin Warwick and we're here at the SDN NFV World Congress in The Hague in the Netherlands, and I'm talking with Timo Jokiaho, who is Global Lead Telco Partner Technology Development at Red Hat, and also to Mark Longwell, Director OpenStack Partner Ecosystem at Red Hat. Gentlemen, welcome and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Right, let's start with you, Timo, if we might. You'll remember this, I'm sure. Back in the summer, when it was hot and sunny and wasn't dark in the evenings, there was a persistent rumour that Red Hat was dropping OpenStack. Was that rumour true? Is it true?
No, it's not true at all. So we have been investing into OpenStack for a number of years during the NFV journey to make it NFV ready, and we have so many deployments globally. And we are continuing our investment into OpenStack as we speak, and we have painted out our feature roadmap for Red Hat OpenStack up to 2027, which is a long time. So not true at all.
So the next question, logical question from that is, where did the rumour come from then?
So I think there were several sources, and it's hard to pinpoint any particular party, but as you said, it was a strong rumor, but it really is not the case.
So you are still committed to OpenStack?
We are, and our investment into OpenStack upstream community, openstack.org, is on the same level as earlier. We are the biggest contributor, and that's going to remain for years to come. No change.
Thank you. I'll stay with you for another question, if I might, before we move over to Mark. Can you tell us then something about the Red Hat OpenStack platform as it is now?
Our NFV journey in the industry has been like 7 years, and during all those years we have been investing into feature development of OpenStack to really make it network ready. And we started with networking performance, because if OpenStack cannot deliver networking performance on wire speed, it's useless. So we did that. Then we have continued to invest into real-time capabilities, which are now needed when people start virtualizing the RAN, the radio access network, on a split base station and all these things. Security, other thing, so we are complying to several national cybersecurity agency requirements to have all those features built into OpenStack, and that sort of things. There's a lot has been happening, and it is a very nice mature platform now, which was not the case like maybe 5 years ago.
Figures. Things grow up. Mark, over to you. You are Director OpenStack Partner Ecosystems at Red Hat. What does that mean? What is the ecosystem, and what is your part in developing it and maintaining it?
My role is basically to take what's now a very mature ecosystem of partners and make sure their software runs particularly well on Red Hat OpenStack. So we do a set of certifications for ISV software, for VNF partners, to be certified on top of Red Hat OpenStack platform so our customers can deploy the software with confidence. So we have approximately 95 to 96 VNF certifications on top of OpenStack, and about 195 ISV applications totally certified for OpenStack. And this helps our telco partners and non-telco partners deploy with confidence.
Can you also tell us something about OpenShift? We'll come back on the details to you, Timo, but staying with you again, Mark. What's OpenShift then?
OpenShift is our Kubernetes container platform. And as we see the service providers who have been working with virtualized network functions moving to the container aspect, one of the natural journeys is to move on to a newer platform, which is basically OpenShift. So we'll work with our partners from a certification perspective to take their VNFs that they've certified with Red Hat, and as they move to a containerized or a CNF functionality, we'll get those certified on OpenShift. So the customers, once again, who are deploying confidently with their virtual network functions can do the same with their containerized network functions on OpenShift.
Thank you. Could we go into it, Timo, a little bit more detail? How does OpenStack fit and work with OpenShift?
So it works well. So what we have and what we can do and what we are doing is to run OpenShift on OpenStack virtualization platform in many instances, in many cases. On the other hand, OpenShift also runs on Google Cloud and Amazon and Microsoft and all these places, but we call it the best place to run OpenShift is Red Hat OpenStack, obviously.
Good, okay, fine. Now then, maybe to both of you, I don't know who wants to pick this one up first, but how about some use cases then for OpenStack? Can you tell us any?
Well, I'd say the largest one is NFVI, right? This is where the service providers are, deploying Red Hat OpenStack. And then there's others such as AI, ML, and data analytics and so forth. We see it big in education, state and local government, cloud service providers. But I think we're seeing most of the visible airtime is through the large telco providers, service providers, the Verizons of the world and the AT&Ts of the world. They're household names. So they do get a lot of attention. But NFVI is the main workload, I would say, from an OpenStack perspective.
As far as development for the future is concerned, again, this applies to both of you. I take it the ecosystem continues to grow?
Agreed. And OpenShift had their own or has their own ecosystem of partners. And when OpenShift came out, it was primarily focused on enterprise. So there is a whole ecosystem of partners there. We now have our service provider or VNF partners that are now migrating over to containers and obviously OpenShift. So you see actually a much larger ecosystem going forward because of the combination of the virtualized network functions moving over to containerized network functions and the previous OpenShift ecosystem which was already in place and is continuing to expand.
Timo, you've got anything to add to that?
Yeah, so a little bit from technical point of view. So I described earlier about our OpenStack investment, and now we have been doing the same for OpenShift to make it network ready. And why we started to do that is kind of interesting because 5G standardization took a completely different approach compared to 4G and so forth standardization, because 5G standardization is even calling for implementation techniques like containers and cloud nativeness. So we thought that, okay, so when people start building 5G networks, we better be ready with OpenShift to do that, and we are.
What about this Red Hat Summit that you had recently? Why was that important? First thing, why was it important? And secondly, at that summit, you outlined plans for up to 2025, 6-7 years ahead of us. What gives you the confidence to be able to plan that far ahead? And can you tell us what those plans will be?
Yeah, I think from a life cycles perspective, what we found with the service providers and larger customers is the OpenStack lifecycle was coming out every 6 months, and customers could not deploy, update in that time frame. So with OpenStack 10, about 3 years ago, we went to a long life release cycle, which basically provides a 5-year window of support for our OpenStack distributions. So every third version of OpenStack is now a long life version. So OpenStack 13 is the current long life version that's in the marketplace now. OpenStack 16, which comes out in early 2020, will have a life cycle through 2025. And then OpenStack 17, which comes out in 2021, late 2021, will go to 2026 or 27.
Which is what Timo mentioned previously.
Exactly.
Got it. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What was at the Red Hat Summit, who goes to one of your summits? Is it simply within the corporation itself, or do you have others attending?
We have 10,000 of our best friends show up, and yeah. And we alternate Boston 1 year, San Francisco the next year. So we'll be in San Francisco in late April of 2020.
Good stuff. Now, before we came on air, I asked you, Mark, if you had something you could just say just to wrap this whole thing up in one for us. And you said something which I thought was pretty impressive. Maybe you learned it over the years, or maybe you just came off the top of your head. But you mentioned something about OpenStack being one of two platforms. Can you take it from there for us?
Yeah, I think basically the takeaway is that we have a hybrid cloud strategy, and OpenStack and OpenShift are key components of that. So being successful there, driving a partner ecosystem, advancing the technology to handle service provider workloads and so forth is the key to our success.
Well, gentlemen, we're done. Thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.